Basically, House Bill 3474 had quite a bit to it, setting up courts throughout the state, additional courts for different counties and that kind of thing. But the one that most Gregg County and the surrounding areas are going to be most interested in is that the jury pay has increased. So when we summons a jury, they go into a regular room to begin with, and we pay them we pay them currently $6 a day to be there, and send them on their merry way. And if they're picked, then they come back for as long as the trial is going to last. And currently, we are paying $40 a day. Well, that has changed, and so initially, on the initial day that someone is summoned, they will be paid $20, which is a $14 increase there. And then, if they are chosen to serve as a juror for the specific trial that we're looking at, then they will actually be paid $58. So it's an $18 increase. I guess with times as they are, and I don't think, to my knowledge, it's been quite a long time since there's been an increase in juror pay. So I guess legislators thought it was time, and probably is. So we're currently in budget season right now. So we have had time to prepare for that, even though we'll actually be 1 month in before the budget, next year's budget actually takes place.
Yeah, and so you're talking about the summons and everything like that, kind of the process. But every week when you guys are summoning people, about how many are you actually sending out? How many do you actually get show up, and how many actually get to serve on a jury each week?
Well, it just depends. We divide our weeks up into civil weeks, trials where insurance cases, car wrecks, business suing another business, those kinds of things. We divide those up versus regular criminal trial. And so our civil, it just depends on how many court we think. We send out jury summons about 2 to 2.5 weeks before the actual date. So we try to get a good feel of the courts who is needing a trial, who is wanting a trial, knowing full well that by the time that date gets here, they could have all gone away. But so we take a poll of our courts and then know. Typically, summons for a civil week, 500 to 700 summons we send out. If it's a criminal week, anywhere from 7 to 950, depending on what we think the nature of the trial might be or the number of trials going on. So somewhere in there. Now, return. We consider, I think most counties consider a 20 to 30% return on summons good. But in Gregg County, we're actually averaging anywhere from 40 to 45%. Now, that doesn't mean that every summons that we send out, 40% of them are showing up at the courthouse. Some of them have exemptions and that they can use, but they responded to it and let us know that they have children under 12 or they are exempt because of their age and that kind of thing. So those that come back to us, we're seeing about 40 to 45%, which we think is a good return. And then, on a criminal trial, we'll have anywhere, I would say 150 to 225 people will actually show up. Lately, we've not had to put that many people into the courtroom because our trials have been, our district attorney and the courts have been working through a lot of the criminal trials so that it is limited how many trials we're actually having. And then the civil docket has been, it on a good year it's spotty. It just sometimes they go and then sometimes they lead up right to the trial and then they settle their differences or whatever in whatever form or fashion. So, but we feel like in Gregg County we have a really good return. We feel like that our community is very involved in what goes on in the courthouse. So we feel that it'll be success, and I'm only hoping that a pay increase might even allow people to feel like it gives them another reason to come and be a part of the system.
For sure. And I know that the state says that they will reimburse people, counties for this kind of increase. With you guys, what does that number look like?
It's going to be the same across the state. That's what the bill tells us. Of the first 20, the first day, then when we give the 20 out, they'll reimburse us $14, and then on the second day and subsequent days following that, of the 58, they will reimburse 52. So and that's standard in the bill. That'll be whatever the county wants to do, they will reimburse that much.
As a district clerk, how does this change things for you, in your job? Does it really change anything? Does it alter things?
It really doesn't. Except that right now, if we continue to pay, if we're going to pay $58, it just means that we're going to have to be creative and find ways to pay people, because now you're, instead of $40, that's two 20s. 58, well, now you've got two 20s, a 10, a 5, and three 1s. So that makes it a little more difficult from an accounting standpoint. Obviously, $58 is $58. We can pay it whatever, but that'll make it's more of an accounting nightmare than anything else. But it is what it is, and we're looking at remedies to that situation to see if there may be other creative ways to help our jurors out.
For sure. And in your opinion, did you feel like this was something that needed to be done, like a jury pay increase? I know that you had mentioned that this isn't something that has happened in a long time, which that is very accurate. Do you feel like this is something that needs to be changed?
I think it's probably a positive thing. I think it's one of those things that as a clerk, is it the first and foremost thing on our list of things that we need done? No, it's not. But it's probably good for our citizens, and hopefully entices them to continue to be a part of their part of our system. And it's inconvenient. Let's be real and be honest. It's an inconvenient process because nobody wants to be at the courthouse unless they got real business to take care of. But it is part of what it's like to be a part of Gregg County and a part of being an American. It's our rights to do this. So, but only get paid $6 for missing work where you might not get paid that day if you're an hourly worker and those kinds of things. You've lost money in this deal. So hopefully it'll be a little more fair. Obviously, it's not going to cover your whole day, but it'll be a little more fair, and hopefully it will help people continue to be part of the process.
For sure, and I feel like jury duty has kind of like a negative connotation with it. People see that summon and they're like, I have to go in. Do you feel like this would be something that might change it?
I doubt it. I really doubt it. People don't, even though it is part of the system and it's part of being our rights as Americans, a lot of people don't want to be involved in this part of the process. And I get it. I really do. I don't judge that as a bad thing. A lot of people don't want to sit in judgment of others, and it can be a time-consuming process. But what I have found is it is truly an interesting part of being an American. The whole judicial process is so interesting, and this gives you a completely different view of that system as a juror. We've as many people that really don't want to be part of the system, you'd be amazed to see how many people really do want to be a part of that system, and they find it fascinating. And I have people tell me all the time, I really wish you would send me a jury summons, and I really wish you'd pick me after you send it to me. Well, I don't have any part of the who I pick to send a summons to. It's done by computer, and I really don't have any part of getting you picked as a juror. But if you get the summons, then you have your opportunity.
Yeah, And then we were talking about off camera, one of the other big things is the exemption, the age going up. Can you kind of talk about that too?
Yeah. I think some of our more experienced citizens of Gregg County are going to be a little disappointed that they thought they were exempt once they turned 70. Well, the legislature decided, even though you're getting a pay raise, that they're going to raise that exemption level from 70 to 75. So if you're in that 5-year period, you still can get a summons, and you may have to serve anyway, even though you may be just 74 and you thought you were already exempt. But the legislature only did it in this bill for our petit juries. Grand jury will still remain the exemption still remains at 70, but we have heard some talk that will be corrected in the next legislative session, that they might have forgotten about that part, and so we look for that to change maybe in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
So.
Is there anything else that you feel like people should know from your standpoint, here in Gregg County about this increase, about what it does for you guys, what it does for, I guess jurors, potential jurors and things like that? Is there anything that you feel like was left out that you think people should know?
No, I think, as far as jury and their pay is concerned, it's probably a little more fair. Again, it's not going to cover your daily wages for sure, but it'll be fair. I think it's a little more fair than what has been going on, and people still, if they choose, they still can donate their money to. We have organizations that we list for them. If they don't feel right taking the money, then they can donate it to one of our local organizations to help them out. Mothers Against Drug Drivers, East Texas CASA, Longview Animal Health Shelter. Those some of the facilities they can donate it to. So obviously their pay would go up too if our citizens decide to donate that to them.